So Shashimar sir makes some observation.
I think I have to speak tomorrow, but I have only one question from me to. I know Professor Bhatt, I know Daveji, I know Gopinath ji, I know Dilip ji also. The new person is only Professor Vinamra Sharma. Let me ask you, how much practical our, probably we all understand or think that we understood a little bit. And then we hope that we practice a little bit. How much could be the younger generation? How much could be probably the Indian portion? Because if you look at wellness index, if you look at happiness index, we are all talking about spirituality, wellness, but we are nowhere near to probably the poorest of the poorest country nearby our great nation. We still call it as great. What can practically do and what could be the reason? I picked up the doubt when you yourself is telling managing, trying to, we aim to. These are all words which are hard. No. Somehow let us get something done. At least this, if you do, is it the way forward or is it something practically we can make happen?
So I will supplement.
Yes.
So in a world where everything is being commodified, this commodification of the spiritual and the material aspects of life. So in such a scenario, yoga is also being commodified. It's a commodity now. It's aggressively marketing across the world, aggressively. Therefore, 99% of people, they don't know the basic pristine objective of this great science of yoga. Totally deviated, totally deviated. So this dichotomy, I don't think we can gulf all of a sudden, because until and unless this journey comes to an dead end, the present journey, because in between we cannot break it. Put a break is difficult. In nature, everything is like that. Then only this very spirit of yoga, because it is something beyond what we are speaking. Because from the very beginning, that inner probing is towards perfection, merging, union. I want to talk on a sixth on this. Therefore, I don't want to speak much on this. Therefore, however, it's a great platform where we can deliberate upon, we can share very fundamental ideas. Therefore, at least in that way, we can disseminate and we can sustain and upkeep the true essence of yoga through this platform, I hope. Now, I hope that Professor Vinamra Sharma will continue his, answer.
Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, many means I can say that as I mentioned in my submission that the ultimate aim of yoga is the self-realization. Then only we have to overcome with all kind of sufferings, and we can say the state of the liberation, which is explained by Maharishi Patanjali. So that's why the India especially is asked that how much we are practicing in India. So we can say that, as I initially mentioned, that the yoga is a way of life. So it irrespective to any means develop any criteria, have to do this, have to not do this, we have to just enjoy our life. That's why we find the difference in opinion since ancient time to our present perspective also. Ancient times, we have a concept of Astik Darshana and the Nastik Darshana. The means the group of person who believe on that Vedic philosophy. And there is a different, Charvak, Bodh and Jainism are there. They have believed that they don't believe on that Vedic concept. So still, in the Astik Darshanas, we have a difference of opinion. We have a Shad Darshanas. Nyaya has its own principle of way of explanation about the life. Yoga has explained, which is written by Maharshi Patanjali, has especially emphasis on the chitta. They especially focus on chitta. When we look at all the fourth chapter of the Maharshi Patanjali, we find that in Samadhi Pad, Sadhan Pad, Vibhuti Pad, they have explained about that the Ashta Siddhi, they have explained about what is chitta, they have explained about what is samadhi. But end of the chapter, Kaivalya Pad, he is mentioning that how chitta is nirmana taking place, how we single chitta means one chitta can be perform a various type of activities, but chitta is the one. But in between that chapter only, Maharshi Patanjali explained that the chitta is not self-luminous. It is always luminous by the Atma. So there's a correlation with the Atma and the mind. So that's why when we look at the concept of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, because we are discussing on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, means we can find that there is a concept of Karma Yoga, as means Srimad Bhagavad Gita mentioned that Yogastu Karma Shukoshanam. He's also explained about the Bhakti Yoga, his way of life, where that we are we have a Ishwar concept of Ishwar Pradhana, where we are Pranavachya is there, we are enjoying that our religious faith or different way. So we have a concept of Bhakti Yoga, we have a Raj Yoga, means there are various different ways. So we cannot say that means it's practicing or not. We can say that persons are their own belief, own faith, and they are enjoying, they are living the life, but there should be one discipline. And there is a one point to self-realization. One have to realize self, what he is or what she is, from where they came from, and how they can overcome with all type of sufferings. So this is to realize, either it may be different way, either it may be karma yoga, either it may be bhakti yoga, it may be raj yoga, it may be mantra yoga, it may be sangeet yoga. Means we are enjoying our life in their own way, but we have to follow some discipline, some rule and regulations. We should not cross the line which is just bypassing our tip of the nose. This is my overall solution, sir, and please add if anything is left. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
I think Kripal Singh ji had put
Yeah.
the hand.
Please unmute yourself, Kripalji.
Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed listening to all of you. You have wonderful philosophy and wonderful ways of looking at different things. Now, I'm a clinician. I look at Ramayana, for example, for me, lessons how Ramchandra ji, he was a Raj Yogi to me. So was Krishna ji. And so were the Sikh Gurus, like starting from Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh. The yoga has both preventive and rehabilitative component in it. We have deep philosophy, but when it comes to implementing it, we fall short of it. Look at Ramchandra ji. He goes to Pilni's house. She's low caste and she's tribal and all that, and he didn't care where he was. It was her love which attracted her. Look at Krishna ji, went to Bidar's house. Although rejected the Duryodhans. Guru Nanak went to Bhai Lalo's house instead of Malk Bhago's house. So my point is that we people who become enlightened and have those yogic abilities also has an obligation, like Guru Nanak talks about in his composition Siddhagosht, when has he discoursed with the Siddhas. He said, you have all that knowledge, you can go die with you. With all those enlightenment, yes, you have gotten transformation within yourself. We also owe to the society which provided you the living and provided you the opportunities and all to serve them. And to serve them, we need to devise programs by going how we go to the slums in India, how we create a new brotherhood so that freedom is enjoyed not just by a few people, by the whole majority of people within India. And that all requires a leadership and example from learned people like yourself. And my question to you is, what is needed to actually implement this so that we can transfer from talk to practice, like Dr. TP has asked? Similar. Thank you. That's my question to you all.
But
Kripalji, we should wait for 20 more days to get some answers from many. If we get a real answer tomorrow onwards, none of us will attend. We are all seeking.
You know, one example I want to give you from here, at least, which we find it practical within the everywhere, you know, where the Punjabis live.
Bhagavad Gita, after 5 lectures also, Arjuna said it is very difficult to control the mind. Only Krishna said, Abhyasena tu kaunteya, you keep on practicing. Ramana Maharshi also said, Jala Pakshivad Dina Rodhanam. You can put him in a cage. The chit is what Vinamra said is chit is the core program, which is uncontrollable. But Ramana Maharshi said, you can put them, see what is happening to most of the so-called meditators. 10 minutes they close the eyes, not see the world, and they are happy internally. But another 11 hours, 50 minutes, they are unhappy.
Yeah. By the way,
what is the whole purpose of eating food? As soon as you stop eating, again you feel hungry.
By the way, there's Swami Rama from the Himalayan Institute located in Pennsylvania.
I am a disciple. I am the second Swami Rama's disciple, Swami Vedabharati. I am direct disciple of Swami Vedabharati.
Okay.
Himalayan tradition. So that way I am a Himalayan master.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, he wrote a book called Celestial Song, where the conversation of Guru Gobind Singh with Banda Bairagi and preparing him.
Or maybe living with the Himalayan masters. See, they're all masters.
Yes.
Even Krishna could realize he took so much time and Arjuna could not understand. I don't know whether we speak only Bhagavad Gita or after that there is an Uttara Gita. And Uttara Gita, he said, no, it's not for you. Now stop. Your job is over. Ananda Shastram Bahu Vedidavyam Alpascha Kale Bahuvascha Vigno. There are a lot of problems in your life. Practical problems are there. See, you want self-actualization, but management principle, Maslow's theory says physically must be very good first. Where is physical situation? Yesterday I was giving a talk, last week I was giving a talk on the World Malayali Council on breathing, and they were telling what to breathe. I said, you put yourself inside air-conditioned room and breathe only. See, when you breathe outside, you fall sick. The pollutant Indian, the scale for India pollution is, you know, the state of affair. I also live. What will happen if you breathe outside?
Yeah,
see,
that's right.
Practical, physical, intellectual, emotional, social. In that complex situation, how do we look for the spiritual enlightenment? We cannot keep closing your eyes. That's why Swami Rama's meditation in action.
Yes, that's right. That's the part. There's a story about
that is more important.
Yeah, it is really. It is very important. It is one story. There's a Bhai Nandlal, who was one of the courts of Guru Gobind Singh. When he came first to his attention, he was quite knowledgeable now. Guru Gobind Singh met him, and then after that he said, "What should I do, sir, in your campus?" He said, "Go to the kitchen and ask someone to help you." And he was so astonished. He said, "Person like me, who's so intellectual and so high and all that, he's sending me to the kitchen." Then he said, "Well, I've come here. Now I'm having him as a guru, so I must follow him." He went to the kitchen and the person in charge over there, he said, well, there the utensils, please start washing them. He was reluctant. He said, I felt reluctant initially, but then I said, I must do what the Guru is asking to. He said, as I started cleaning those utensils, as I cleaned them, that brought my hum down. And all that enlightenment which I had at a just thought level actually became practical. So this helped to clean up my mind as I did that seva. So he said, then when next time he goes to Guru, Guru said, hey, what was it like your first day? Then he tells him what happened and all that. My point again is, the practice has to come at some level. And if the practice is not there, then how is it going to improve the quality of the life in the people in which we live? We owe to them. Look at our public health consciousness. We clean our house and everything, and we take baths several times a day, but we throw the garbage in the street. And then we wonder where the disease comes from. Disease comes from the same. The flies don't have a limitation. They come whether you're clean or not clean in your house and all. So our public health consciousness, the same way our societal consciousness to serve people has to come up. And I think yoga can play a major role in this with your guidance.
Devji.
Can I
Yes.
make one suggestion? 2 minutes, please.
Yes, sir.
The answer to this question, is given in the Bhagavad Gita itself. It says, na iha abhikramanasho asti, pratyavayo na vidyate, swalpam apiyasi dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. If you do your duty little, there is no question of any bad things or opposite results. If you do your little dharma or your duty, we have to understand our duty. As very correctly said by Kirpal Singh ji, we have to see that we don't throw the garbage on the street. That little thing we can do and we can save a lot of people. But please, understand your duty from your teacher and then try to do as little as possible. We may not be able to solve all the problems, but swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. It can protect you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm.